Okay, welcome everyone to this online forum on social enterprise and rural revitalization, context, trends, and best practices in the Philippines. My name is Becky Malay of the Philippine Rural Reconstruction Movement, or PRRM, and this forum is co-organized by the Institute for Social Entrepreneurship in Asia, or ISEA, PRRM, Rural Reconstruction Nepal, RRN, and Sources for Action China, SFA. We are the conveners of a platform called Platform on Rural Revitalization, Youth and Social Entrepreneurship. This platform, launched in July of this year, is shared with other CSOs that engage in rural development work across Asia. To welcome all of us today, this afternoon, is the Executive Director of the Rural Reconstruction Nepal. He was the former ambassador of Nepal to the United States of America. Let's please hear from Dr. Arjun Karki. Welcome, Arjun.
Thank you, Becky. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for inviting me to speak with you today. And I would like to warmly welcome all of you. This is my, in fact, distinct honor, and I'm really pleased to share my thought with you. I would like to thank PRRM for organizing this wonderful event and also connecting us with the participant. The Institute of Social Entrepreneurship in Asia, ISEA, is putting a systematic effort to engage youth in revitalizing rural economies and ensuring a recovery initiative from COVID-19. So as a response to the needs of marginalized rural populations, the Rural Revitalization, Youth and Social Entrepreneurship platform was launched in July 2022. This platform has been co-convened by the Institute of Social Entrepreneurship in Asia, the Social Source for Action, we call Rural Reconstruction Network in China, the Philippines Rural Reconstruction Movement, and Rural Reconstruction Nepal. ISEA in general, and particularly this platform, is very much committed and taking initiative for rural revitalization, organizing the series of forums. In November 2022, Rural Reconstruction Network in China, the Source of Action, organized this kind of workshop focusing the cases of China. As co-convener of this platform, RRN is also planning to organize similar kind of event in January 2023, and focus will be obviously on Nepal's context, trend, and good practices. Today, I am very pleased to be able to join you and also welcome the participant in this workshop on social enterprise and rural revitalization, context, trend, and good practices in the Philippines. Thanks to PRRM for leading this discussion and bringing us together. I also would like to thank you all participants, speaker and co-convener of this platform and ISEA family around the Asia, especially who has been directly participating this event today. I'm sure that sharing your knowledge and experience in this workshop will help us to discuss and to learn about the pertinent issue of rural revitalization, role of youth in social entrepreneurship in creating self-reliant society in our countries. Similarly, I am very thankful to Lisa Dagane, President of ISEA, for her tremendous initiative in social entrepreneurship that supports the needs and aspirations of millions of rural youth and our communities in Asia. Dear friends, we have been working for rural development and rural revitalization from long time back, and we always underscore the importance of youth and social entrepreneurship for our rural communities, which are still plagued by problems such as poverty, unemployment, low living standards, and social tensions in our countries. Therefore, the role of social entrepreneurship and enterprise is paramount for rural revitalization by engaging youth in all development activities. Since rural regions in our countries are facing continuing rural urban as well as foreign migration, mostly for labor work. So this is very high time to intervene with the concept and practices of rural revitalization, promoting the youth for their engagement in development and promotion of social entrepreneurship in our countries and community. Dear friends, the indicator for rural development through social enterprise should not only include the growth of per capita income, but we must also aim to increase the social influence of these enterprises, such as increase in the knowledge, skill, health, and the demography of our rural regions. The income generating activities in rural areas, along with development of social enterprise and infrastructure, certainly help to solve some of the most pressing problems of the rural areas today, whereby providing decent income, wages, and benefits to the population, we can aim to solve the critical problem of rural poverty, high unemployment rates, declining quality of life, and depopulation of rural areas. With this, I would like to conclude my remarks. I do look forward to all of the presentation from distinguished and experienced leaders of various organizations, along with the youth farmer leaders that have contributed to social enterprise and rural development in their communities, that I am sure will enrich our knowledge on how we can create a lasting cycle of sustainable development in our rural communities and region. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Arjun Bhai. We're very happy to see you and giving us a very comprehensive background on what the platform is all about and how we intend to. This is very important to highlight the role of the youth, especially in rural development. So the first forum was actually held in November 24, organized by China, SFA China. And now we're very happy that over 90 participants from around 15 countries, from the US, from Asia, of course, and from the CSO Academe and other sectors, especially the social enterprise sectors, have participated in that. But this afternoon, our program will begin with we will be given an overview of the social entrepreneurship in the context of rural development and rural revitalization in the Philippines, no? By the president of PRRM. He is also the vice chairperson of the board of trustees of PRRM. Please welcome Edicio de la Torre. Ed, you have the floor.
Thank you, Becky. Let me share my slides. When I was invited, actually I was surprised. I thought it was going to be Marlon who will present the Philippine context, particularly PRRM's work. And he said, no, you're supposed to give also a preliminary. So I guess I belong to the context part. And I was given around 15 minutes. So I prepared a few slides, some from before and some for now. It's ironic that our main focus is the youth, but maybe this afternoon I'm the oldest in this forum because I am turning 80 next year, Arjun. My gosh, it's too old. But they say
congratulations.
age is just a number. It's just a matter of. So let me start with. I was told it's a keynote speech. So I said, keynote. What are the notes I will talk about? So I will have 3 notes. One is global. That's the first note. it has been my pleasure to, it's almost accidental that I was surfing the web in 2021 and found out that the World Social Report by the UN Department of Economics and Social Affairs had published a major paper on reconsidering rural development. And I think the main takeaway, I'll not discuss the paper itself, is this, that when we talk of social entrepreneurship, rural development, obviously we all want to progress individually, as families, communities, but as a nation. And I think their point is that there is a dominant thinking, no one's specific fault or accomplishment, but just experience that when you talk of development, you think, we'll get urban versus rural. We'll get industrial versus agricultural, and beyond industrial services, most of it are also in the rural. Now, their point is, there's nothing wrong with that per se, although urbanization, especially the big megapolis, have their own problems of pollution, traffic, and all that. But their argument is that if you want to address the sustainable development goals, especially the cluster of the first five, remove poverty, address hunger, issue of health, education, gender, I mean, the whole inequality issues, it's still mainly a rural issue, although there are urban inequalities. And so their point is, if we do not address rural, we are not going to achieve these sustainable development goals. And we should not consider rural development as like the appendage, you do urban industrial and what is left, that is rural. And that is part of the reason why, in fact, especially for the young people, the tendency is, if you want to have better opportunities, to have jobs, not only that, to have access to the different possibilities of progress, well, leave the rural area. There's no future there. And that's why the rural-urban migration is a big phenomenon, especially for the young. And then beyond that, of course, migration outside our countries, so as Arjun mentioned, whether it's Nepal or the Philippines, or if in our third participating co-sponsor, China, is from rural to urban migration. Now, from there, let me go to the second keynote, which is, while we talk of rural revitalization, and I guess those of us who are from the rural reconstruction tradition, we were thinking at PRRM next year at the end of our 70th anniversary that we will like to call a global conversation to discuss the nuances among the changes of this theme, rural reconstruction, now it's revitalization, and now people are saying even rural regeneration. But that's secondary yet. The whole point is rural, okay, you put them as one, but really rural, there is upland rural, there is lowland rural, and there's coastal rural. And as I put together in this slide, this urbanization, there is some urban in the rural, and of course, there are efforts to green parts of the urban. No? And as I will say later in my later slides, we realized in the Philippines that for a long, long while, even PRRM, although we did coastal communities work, we have very strongly land focused. And yet there's a whole marine resources, fisheries, and all that, which we haven't quite explored yet. No? So the second slide, I just want to emphasize that we cannot discuss rural revitalization except in relationship also to urbanization. The two interact, and that's why I keep the colors and the figures blurred. It's not so strict, no? There's whole debate even on what is urban, what is rural in terms of number of institutions, population, and all that. And we should see also there is upland urban, there is lowland urban, there is coastal urban. So just to show that it's a complex issue, but what is common is there is migration going on. And part of the theme, I think in the forum sponsored by China, is also on how urban youth, maybe formerly rural or urban from birth, are starting to look for opportunities, no, in the rural, not just in terms of enterprise, in terms of income, but also a better way to live closer to a healthier, less polluted, and less crowded place. So the point I want to raise here simply is this is the context. Why? Because when you talk of social enterprise, let's accept the fact that historically, uh, the development of urban areas were really driven by enterprises. No, it's not by public policy. As merchants develop, as traders, and as manufacturers, the urban areas grew and then drew labor force from the rural areas. So later, I want to discuss the interplay between public policy, government, national and local, and social enterprise, because we might fall into the trap by being too narrow in our focus and think that social enterprise by themselves will be the only or even the main driver. It will be a combination of public policy, public investments, especially in infrastructure. But clearly, our argument is that, especially if you want to attract the youth, no, to invest their time, their effort, their resources, their energies, and skills in rural revitalization, there has to be possibilities of enterprise. Profitable enterprises that are more eco-friendly, nature-friendly, rural-friendly. So which brings me to my third keynote, and this is specific to the Philippines. This is something I've been working on since for 2 years now. I've been trying to get a perspective on rural development for us in the Philippines. I was reading just last year, a book by an American neuropsychologist who talks of successful aging. And his argument, which I like because I am aging, is that one thing that getting older gives you at least is perspective. And when I checked our theme of rural revitalization or earlier rural reconstruction, I just realized that for the Philippines as a nation, uh, our formal independence was only in 1946. You know? So really, I looked at all the presidents who governed the country since the first one, Manuel Rojas, till recently, the son of Ferdinand Marcos. You just have, by the midterm of the current president, we have only 80 years formal independence, where central government, despite its relationship internationally, its dependence, has a strong hand in formulating not just policy, especially importation and support of infrastructure, but also in terms of encouraging people to develop their livelihood. Well, it promoted for a long while export of labor because they couldn't accommodate the growing population. Unfortunately, the other factor, which we know, is that as old as the literature on rural reconstruction in the 1930s, the rural inequalities, poverty, backwardness, and all that creates, combined with wrong or negative government policy, produces not only unrest, not only this anger or passivity, but also active protest. And in the Philippines, rural reconstruction, rural development, rural revitalization, whatever the name, still has to deal with, hopefully, something that will end at some time soon, a whole active rural-based insurgency. And because of that, there is counterinsurgency. So the space for rural development and within that, social enterprises, especially for the young, was very constricted, partly by urbanization, migration, and then insurgency and counterinsurgency. And that is an important element if we take as our shared goal, not just rural revitalization, but sustainable development goals. No? If you look at this slide, I surrounded what is basically a green, red, yellow, and all that with very blue background. And it is because recently PRRM has been actively campaigning for us to realize that the Philippines is not just land, that we are an archipelago. An archipelago, by definition, is a body of water on which there are islands, not the reverse, of islands surrounded by water. And we coined, it's not something I coined, it's something that the government in fact coined, that every September we are supposed to celebrate the month of awareness of the Philippines as a maritime and archipelagic nation. Arjun, of course, not Nepal, you are landlocked inside. But us, 300,000 square kilometers of land. That's huge by itself, although in relation to 100 million plus population, it's getting more overpopulated. But we have 2,200,000 square kilometers of exclusive economic zone under the United Nations Convention, the Law of the Sea. And of course, there are conflicts there, especially in the South China Sea, West Philippine Sea area, but not just there. So it is another context for not just addressing rural development, but even social enterprise. Recently, anecdotally, I met a young woman who studied in Australia and who is the daughter of a traditional fish trader, a big one. And she is seriously going into social enterprise, including investing technologically in solar-powered ice production and crushing small, based on like just the container vans, because it will allow the fisher folk to preserve the fish cuts so that it can be transported and get better prices elsewhere. That is a case where there are possibilities also in terms of seaweeds and in terms of other marine resources. However, as I mentioned, I think it's important when we talk of social enterprise, rural revitalization, that while we focus on the initiative and encourage the initiative of the young, especially entrepreneurs and all that, we cannot ignore the fact that public policy, government has a very important role. Well, part of the good news is after erratic and maybe long decades of neglect, the current administration, at least on public pronouncements, is committed, if not to the language of rural development, at least to the issue of developing greater possibilities for food security for the Philippines. And the concept of food security is quite good. It's not just basic production, but also developing what they call the whole value chain. That will include logistics, include processing, including marketing. I see certain parallelism between that and China's announced policy of rural revitalization since what, 10 years ago? Our former board of trustee, who unfortunately died, was the ambassador to China, Chito Santarumana. And he used to tell me, Ed, our work with the Philippine Rural Reconstruction Movement is similar in terms of its ideas and its thrust to ideas of rural revitalization in China, except there it is government-led. And there's a heavy public investments in roads, in bridges, in electricity, in Wi-Fi, and maybe even financing. While in our case, a lot of our efforts are CSO-driven, very limited in scope. However, that is not quite true because we do have certain national programs from government, especially one recently funded by a multi-year fund by the World Bank called Philippine Rural Development Program, which captures the spirit of what I am mentioning. It has a heavy investment in infrastructure, but it has a distinct component for developing rural enterprise, value chain, whether the primary product in the place is cassava or whether it's some other crops. That is a case where, again, national and local government are collaborating because 90% is combination of loans and national government, and only 10% counterpart of the local government. And I like to wind up my keynote with this, that while we have the global, we have the national. When we talk of promoting social enterprises for rural development, a lot of the action, not just in terms of issues, uh, problems, but also initial successful evidence of collaboration and achievement is happening at the local areas. Local doesn't mean just small village, but where municipalities, in some cases cities, in some cases even provinces, the government invests a lot, have policies, but also collaborate both with private sector and social sector to achieve greater productivity, but also improved income, especially for the rural families. And there is the opportunity now for a lot of young people, because a lot of young people, like any normal human being, doesn't want to have work that is doubly hard and it takes a whole day. Wants work that will be compensated with proper income, and more important, wants work that will develop their capacity because it can tap the technologies and the possibilities of the new technologies. So just rapidly, because I know our own presenters, the young people will have their own. Recently, in the Galing Pook Awards, because I'm part of the selection committee, I like to mention three quickly. One is in Pidig, Ilocos Norte. It's in the home province of our president. There is a mayor there and his wife who really developed a very high productivity of rice, producing 150 kabans per hectare, but building on the traditional irrigators association, but then supporting it with post-harvest facilities and financing. The second one is in Palayan, Nueva Ecija, where onion growers, the farmers there, develop their own co-ops and realize that during harvest, the prices will go down, but the onions have to be sold, otherwise they will spoil. So they put up a cold storage facility and eventually partnered with the local government and eventually partnered with the World Bank PRDP program. And so they built a larger cold storage facility where the co-ops put their onions, and then they still decide when and how to sell. But in the meantime, they can wait out the fluctuations of prices. So it's a very successful program. And the third one I like to add, which in Basilan province, that's a provincial level, after addressing the problem of insurgency there, including the terrorist group Abu Sayyaf, which most of whom surrendered eventually, the governor looked at the facilities of their province that used to be a big rubber plantation, so tried to develop the processing plant, but also a lot of coconut, but most important, a lot of fish. And so they are now investing in both cold storage, coconut processing facilities. Again, that's government-led, but it will not happen unless they have partners not only with private entrepreneurs, but especially the younger, whom they will attract not only as staff of these enterprises, not only as technical workers, but entrepreneurs themselves. So again, like any country, the Philippines has plenty of problems. The Philippines in the rural area is still seen as there's still a festering insurgency. The government has a special program investing a lot to invest roads and bridges and to curb that. But I think overall, it's in this specific local areas where the combination of just the right part combination of national and local government, local business people, including some local education agencies, NGOs and CSOs with the local cooperatives and association of farmers are developing, nurturing, and showing that it is possible to have progress, increase productivity, and increase incomes for rural households. And so there is reason not only for the rural youth not to migrate to the cities, but even they've started attracting people who have left their community, have made part of their money in Metro Manila or abroad, and now are returning and willing to invest part of their earnings and their own skills in developing rural-based enterprises. I hope this context provides a broader background for what will be more specific and more concrete presentations both by PRRM and our invited resource persons. So thank you very much. I hope I have provided some context and done my keynotes for our forum. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ed. It was very comprehensive keynote and very clear points that you have raised and clarifying the context from global to local. So I hope everybody carries on to the next part of the conversation, which will be led by our Executive Director, Marlon Palomo. Marlon, just a minute. Marlon is the Executive Director of PRRM, and he is going to speak on the topic of Sustainable Local Economic Development Framework that is being practiced by PRRM and our partner, Social Enterprises. Marlon, you have the floor.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Thank you. What I'm going to present this afternoon is first looking at an experience in the context was presented. My presentation is on sustainable.
Marlon, you are breaking up. Most of the time, hindi ka namin naririnig. We cannot hear you very well. Are you still here? I think he dropped, no? His call got dropped. Okay, you are back.
Yes, what I'm presenting.
Yeah, go ahead.
Secondly, is the framework that guides the local economic development program of PRRM, where social enterprise incubation, development, and scaling up is located. So, yeah, next slide, please. So this is entitled Sustainable Local Economic Development, Revitalization, and Sustainable Development. So next slide, please. So PRRM is one of the oldest, if not the oldest, non-government organization in the Philippines, and is guided by the fourfold approach of self-government, education, livelihood, and health. And in 1986, when PRRM was revitalized, we added a fifth fold we call the ecosystem development as a means to achieve environmental sustainability. So from then, PRRM is all about upholding rural development through rural revitalization and resiliency, and as I mentioned earlier, we are involves the following sustainable agriculture, produce consumer goods and generate equal and alternative trading and marketing that promote equitable distribution, profit and benefits and the consumers. Alternative was
Marlon, we cannot hear most of your presentation. Kai,
Yes.
can you go ahead with Marlon's presentation? It doesn't seem to be audible. It doesn't seem to be audible.
Yeah,
Or
I don't know where he stopped actually, but
Yeah.
I can start with this slide.
yeah, please.
Yeah, so these are, I think he was saying that these are the more important components of the sustainable local economic development framework that PRRM and partners are practicing and applying in our own respective social enterprises. So there are 5 listed here: sustainable agriculture, rural industrialization, alternative trading and marketing, alternative rural finance, and community-based natural resource management. So all efforts to operationalize these components are directed towards the goals on the right side of the slide, which are increased household income and productivity, food security and basic needs self-sufficiency, access and control over local resources, and as it has become important in recent times, climate resiliency as a fourth goal. So in the next few slides and the practices of our partners, we will see how these are applied. So these are some of our partner social enterprises. There are several, but here are some that we have worked with in more recent times, especially during the pandemic. In the area of the fisheries sector, we can name 3 artisanal fisheries organizations listed here at the top: Sugpo, Kasama, and HTFA in the provinces of Bataan and Camiguin. All these organizations implement their own coastal resource protection measures and their own social enterprises, mainly based on the selling and processing of locally caught fish. And especially during the pandemic and until the present, they have adapted to online orders of locally caught fish and even processed fish and local door-to-door deliveries. And this has given rise to resellers at the village level. So there's added employment opportunity or income opportunity for more people. They are recognized and assisted by their local governments and even by the Department of Agriculture of the Philippines. And we can see that in these organizations, women continue to exercise leadership and entrepreneurship. So that's in the area of fisheries. In the area of farming on land, we start with community seed banks. There's an ongoing project now with women's organizations in Marinduque and Nueva Ecija provinces, and they establish local community seed banks as in the future as an enterprise, but in the immediate to ensure that they have indigenous seeds that they store, keep, and are able to share indigenous and open pollinated varieties of seeds, of vegetables, fruits, and herbs. So this we are doing this in partnership with ISEA again and Oxfam. In the area of organic rice production, our strongest partner is Cool NE. It's a cooperative of small farmers practicing organically grown rice production. So from production, they also engage in processing and marketing of this rice. The rice is marketed, or they are supported in marketing by a tertiary cooperative, the Federation of People Sustainable Development Cooperatives, or FPSDC. From 2020 to last year, they were affected. The cooperative was affected by the pandemic, but it was able to adapt. So in the photos here, you can see the rice fields of one of our farmer leaders and the organic rice that they produce and package and then sell by retail and by wholesale. We are also proud of our other partner, Vizcaya Fresh Incorporated, or VFI. It is located in the upland province of Nueva Vizcaya in the north of Metro Manila. They produce, market, and advocate the production and consumption of organic and chemical-free upland vegetables and root crops. They have markets locally in the province and also in Metro Manila. They have two types of official organic certification, and they are very proud of that. They worked hard to get that. And during the pandemic, they adapted by refocusing their farm planting schedules so that crops come after each other. They identified more local markets in the northern Luzon area, and they linked with urban market platforms. Here is another women-led enterprise, KKM, or it's roughly translated to the Women's Association of Marinduque. It's an island province in Luzon. They engage in food processing. So the photos you see here are fish paste and anchovy paste that they process. The women members, they process these pastes. They also produce other handicrafts. And they are recognized and assisted by their local governments and government agencies as well. So associations and cooperatives of small coconut farmers who produce coconut-based products, like, as you see here in the photos, virgin coconut oil and coconut sugar. They are members of a National Federation of Coconut Farmers, the FECOFWA. And during the pandemic, and even before the pandemic, they had difficulties in marketing, especially outside their region, which is the Bicol region, primarily a coconut producing region. And PRRM also set up several years ago, RR It is a marketing platform that trades locally made products of our partner POs, and even those that may not be our partners, not partners of PRRM, but who have good products that they manufacture themselves locally. So the RR Trade has a physical PRRM building in Metro Manila, and we put in our shelves processed food, coffee, tea, native handicrafts, and others. And because of the pandemic also, we have intensified online marketing via social media. And it has proven to be successful, or it has increased our market. And also as a response to the challenge of the pandemic, PRRM and its partner federations of farmers, fishers, rural women, and coconut farmers we have together put up Kapakanan. It's a social enterprise and advocacy platform for food security, helping to set up and grow social enterprises, more especially in the sustainable agriculture food value chain. It's still starting to get on its feet to actually assist POs and marketing their products. So this involves many of our partners and even family farms. If you remember, one of the 5 elements of the Sustainable Local Economic Development Framework is alternative rural finance. And in actuality, PRRM has helped set up Banco Lagawe. It's a rural bank in a province in the north of Luzon. It has over 20 years. It has established branches in 3 provinces. It provides loans for business, agriculture, tourism, housing, and asset acquisition purposes for the local citizens in those provinces. It has a current asset base of roughly around 500 million and a loan portfolio of 325 million. So you can see it's growing financial institution assisting rural areas. Apart from the Banco Lagawe, there's also the Microfinance Institute. Its operations are mainly in Camiguin Island in the southern Philippines. It provides small loans, savings and loans products to individual entrepreneurs in the province. Some challenges ahead. These enterprises now enjoy government support, but the challenge is to sustain access to these government support programs and, in fact, even expand this access. They were affected by the pandemic, but were able to adapt and are slowly recovering. These SEs, of course, since they are still starting and small, they need capital infusion and support for marketing and digitalization, especially in today's emergent mode of marketing and selling and communication. They also need continuing capacity development on production and certification for organic purposes. And PRRM and together with other NGOs in the country, are advocating for the passing of the bill on poverty reduction through social entrepreneurship in partnership with the coalition. So the challenge is to make this into a law so that it supports many of the small enterprises that are now growing and have the opportunity to further expand. Yeah, so this is what we call the SLED, or the Sustainable Local Economic Development Framework that PRRM practices. Maraming salamat. For Marlon.
Maraming salamat, Kai. Thank you very much for stepping up in Marlon's place because of the technical difficulties. I'm very happy that PRRM is engaged in a lot of social enterprises, and we have very good and excellent examples from different ecosystems that we are actually doing. We actually are doing a lot of trading as well, and financial support through the banks. At this point, I'd like to open the floor for discussion. 5 minutes due to our time constraints. Any clarificatory questions from anybody? Please raise your hand or put it in the chat box so we can read them. I guess everything is clear.
Yes, I think so, yeah.
It looks like everything is quite clear in terms of the introduction and the context in which we are actually doing all of this in the Philippines and sharing to our international friends. So at this point, let us have picture taking.
Okay. Becky, after picture taking, I would like to leave. Is this okay?
Okay. Yes, thank you, Arjun.
Okay, I don't want to miss the picture taking session.
Yes, thank you, Arjun, for your presence. Thank you so much for making time,
Okay.
even if you're on travel and in a conference right now.
Yeah.
Please get ready with your cameras. Please put on your cameras and so we can take photos. Who's going to give us the signal, Kathy?
Mags. Okay, let's start the picture. 1, 2, 3. Just keep on smiling, everyone. 1, 2, 3. Next page. You have 2 pages. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Smile. Thank you, everyone.
Okay,
Thanks.
thank you, Buds. Merry
Bye-bye,
Christmas.
Arjun. Thank you for
Bye.
Merry Christmas.
look
Please,
forward
please send
to
me a photo. Huh?
Nepal's in January, the presentation.
Okay, thank you. We need your support and guidance.
Yes, of
Thank
course.
you.
Okay,
Anytime.
thank you very much.
Becky, you email me photo. I want to see how I look like.
Of course, of course.
With my Filipino comrade, okay?
I can
Yes.
also
Okay, thank
deliver
you.
it
Have a
to-
nice day. Thank you very much.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Have a good day.
You same to you. Bye.
Bye. Okay. Thank you very much to the first 3 speakers that gave us a very good context in which we are actually doing social enterprises and rural revitalization in the Philippines. No? I think it's very important now to focus on the discussion where we have the youth as the main actors in this forum. No? So we will have a sharing from Mary Blessel Herrera Mabel. She is a partner of the International Institute for Rural Reconstruction. She is the, what's this? Blesters Homemade in Ginayangan, Quezon. Yeah. Blessel or Mabel? How do we call you? Is it Mabel? Mabel, are you ready?
Hi, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Who are you? Where are you?
Blessel po, si Blessel po.
There, yung may
Okay.
earphone.
Sige. Blessel, please go ahead. You have the floor. Welcome to your presentation.
Okay, thank you po. I just want to thank PRRM okay. And of course IIRR and the Office of the Municipal Agriculture is here in our town for inviting me and for giving me this opportunity to share our production with you. Oh. Can I share some other
Would you like to share your own screen, Blessel?
yes po, yes po. Can I try po?
Go ahead.
So I will just use my presentation. So is it visible to us po?
Yes, yes, it's visible.
Okay.
Make it
I'm
make
sorry.
it full screen. Make it full screen po.
Okay.
Yung malapit po sa Zoom, near the Zoom of the PowerPoint.
Gawin mo presentation mode.
Wait lang po. The presentation. I'm sorry po, where does the button, where could I find the button for full screen?
It's below. It's below you. There, that one.
Okay, thanks. Is it okay na po? So, good afternoon. My name is Mary Blesal Amador I am a food processor. Actually, it's just a family business and we are doing we are just doing it at our home. So we are from Ginayangan. These are some of our products now. We first made this product, I think 2018. So I was pregnant by that time and I don't have anything to do at home. So my grandfather told me to try and do ginger turmeric brew, or what we call instant celabat. So since I'm pregnant that time, I don't have anything to do. So we try to formulate and imitate the celabat in our hometown, since my grandfather liked it so much. And then after we formulated it, the DTI invited me to join. I think has a seminar. So that's why I came up in using jar to sanitize and to make our I don't know, for the food safety. So this is our first product, the instant celabat, which is made from pure ginger juice with raw sugar. And after a few months, we made ginger turmeric brew. So in this production, it is literally a family business, since my grandfather is the one who are cultivating the gingers, as well as my husband and my mother. And I am in charge in food production and developing of our products. And my mother is the one who is in charge of marketing, and she's also in charge in our financial matters. So the next one is, so after that, we are engaged in Jollibee Food Corporation or Foundation, Jollibee Foundation. So that's why we planted thousands of chilies. But Jollibee requires I think they required certain length of chili to be sold to them. So there are lots of rejects or extras that are we found it hard to market them here in our hometown. So we came up to the idea of processing them as well. So we dried them, since it has lots of volume. So we dried them up, and after it is, I think, good for production, we tried to cook it and made chili garlic oil. After I made this chili garlic oil, I was able to be invited at the office of provincial agriculturist to undergo proper training on how to process this chili garlic oil, as well as the pricing and the proper drying of the chilies. And after that, since I want to make another product from our chilies, so I came up with chili oil only. So my target market here is the one who is selling goto, lugaw, and mami or congis. So I'm selling this for 120. So I first did this recipe to promote it during our hometown local fair trade. So after that, my husband also cultivating or planting cucumbers. So of course, since the market is very meticulous, there are lots of leftovers in our balcony. So my mom told me to come up with a recipe, or the products came from cucumber. That's why we have this pickle relish. And I think I opened the last jar from 2 years ago, and I achieved the good taste of it, the taste that that I want to achieve. So the second one is coconut sauce, or it's just like coco aminos, if you are familiar with it. Right now we have two. So it is made from coconut water, the one that is being thrown from doing copras. So we are just cooking it until it came with the consistency. So we don't have anything, we don't put anything on it. It's just pure coconut water. And as it boils, and actually we cook it for almost 3 days. For 14 gallons of water, of coconut water, we only achieve 11, I think, for 9 liters of coconut sauce. But it's good for keto diets, and we are using it for doing teriyaki sauce for our native chickens. And then there also comes a time when we have abundant supply of papaya that we cannot market here and the nearby towns. So we came up in doing achara. So I think we marketed it on fair trade in Lucena City, in our province. And then we also my latest product now is banana chips. So since we always want to process the products that we are abundant in, that we have lots of supply. So we always want to process our own products, our own produce. That's why since we have lots of banana, so my father and my mother as well told me to try doing banana chips. That's why we have that. And of course, also we have taro chips. This is made from taro. We have 3 flavors: sweet, cheese, and salted. We came up with that idea because of lots of taros that we harvested. Most of our products are made because we have rejects, or we can't market it anywhere here nearby. So the next one is cacao de tablea. Cacao de tablea is just we use it for hot chocolate. We're selling it for 35 pesos for 50 grams. And because of lots of harvest as well. And I came up with my homemade dark chocolates. Actually, as of now, I am working on doing milk chocolates so that it can be a good taste for the children. And here is other raw products. So banana, chili, ginger, papaya, coconut, and root crops. As of now, we don't have physical store. But we are being helped by our Office of the Agriculture, since they are the one who's marketing our products and introducing it to other visitor of here in our town. We are also planning on selling online, but there's just one problem because of the connection, the internet connection that we are experiencing here in our area. So we are just working on finding a good connection so we can market it online. And this is when if I have large volume of products to be processed, so I am asking my relatives, my friends, the elders, my brothers, my siblings to help me. So it is literally family business because all of my family members are helping me to from harvesting down to packaging of our products. And since I am only 29 years old, I'm open to join many more trainings so we can improve our products and share it to other communities. And we are also planning to apply for DTI permit and join cooperatives to further improve and to gain of course financial assistance, since we have limited equipments, and most of my materials are just what I can find in our kitchen. So that's why this is a very big opportunity for me. Joining this forum is a very big opportunity for me to gain more knowledge and to find a community that can help me, that I can adopt with, to further improve our products. So that's it.
Maraming salamat sa iyo, Blessel. Thank you very much. I think Blessel's story is actually a story of a family business.
Yes.
And it's not really very clear yet how the social impacts are realized. Even the environmental impacts are not yet very clear to us. Maybe we can have that for further discussion at the open forum later. Thank you very much. Maraming salamat sa pagbahagi sa iyo, Blessel. Next, may I please ask Lester Digma of Hugs and Kisses 4-H Club in General Aguinaldo.
Hello po, good afternoon.
Yeah, you are a partner of the International Institute for Rural Reconstruction. Please go ahead with your presentation. Lester, you have the floor.
So, mag-share screen po ako, ma'am.
Go ahead. Ano na lang, allow siya sa sharing.
Ma'am, visible na po ba?
Yan, ngayon. Okay
Yan
na.
ba?
Okay.
Before po ako magpaliwanag, medyo Tagalog lang po talaga ako, ma'am. Sorry. Good afternoon po sa inyong lahat. Magpapakita lang po ako ng clips po ng yung mga kung ano yung mga ginagawa namin sa Hugs and Kisses 4-H Club po dito sa bayan ng Bayan. Good afternoon po sa inyong lahat. Ayan po. So, ako po si Lesser Sigma from 4H dito po sa bayan ng Bailen. Ako po yung presidente and at the same time, provincial auditor po ng 4H Club ng Cavite. Ayan po. So, doon po sa video, pinakita po doon kung saan po ba nagmula yung aming grupo una. Bibigyan lang po ako ng konting background. Kami po yung mga anak po ng mga magsasaka dito po sa bayan ng Bailen. At gumawa po kami ng isang grupo. Ito nga po yung Hugs and Kisses 4H Club na nagiging kaagapay po ng kooperatiba na nagsusulong po ng organikong pagsasaka. At the same time, nagpa-process din po kami ng mga products po na mula po sa mga farmers natin. Ano po. Ayan po. So, ang pangalan po namin Hugs and Kisses ay nagmula lang po sa Yakap at Halik na sa Tagalog po ay sinalin po namin sa wikang Ingles. Na ibig sabihin po nung yakap ay yurakan at alisin ang kahirapan at asikasuhin ang pagpapaunlad at halik, hikayatin at akayin ang lahat tungo sa iral na bagong kaayusan. Ano po? Ayan po. So, bago po kami nakapag-isip ng produkto, una po ay meron na po kami inilunsad na programa na katutulong po sa aming komunidad. Ito po yung community-based urban organic gardening na ang layunin po namin ay magkaroon ang lahat ng kumbaga po ay kaya na makapagtanim kahit po sa maliit na espasyo ng kanilang bahay lang. Ano po. Pero ang una pong tinarget namin ay yung mga youth po. Nagbigay po kami ng mga first aid, yung para pong kit para po sa pag-uumpisa nila ng urban gardening. At the same time, before po namin sila mabigyan, kit po ay nag-undergo po muna sila ng seminar na tinuro din po ng ATI po sa aming mga officers na po is club. Ngayon po, dahil po meron na kaming mga raw materials and kumbaga po ay gusto namin magkaroon ng produkto na natural dito po sa aming bayan. Nakaisip po, kasama po ang kooperatiba, kasama po ang aming grupo ng pangalan po ay YH Enterprise na po. Ang una pong dahil din po kaya po sinasabi naming natural ang aming pong kooperatiba o yung aming Yakap at Halik Eden Farm ay organic certified na doon din po ang aming opisina o sentro po ng aming grupo. Doon po kami nagsasanay at doon din po kami tinuturuan. At the same time, doon din po kami nagpo-proseso ng aming mga produkto. Ayan po, una, yung banana products po natin. Meron po tayong banana juice, pure banana powder. Ano po, yung banana juice po, ito po yung typical na juice lang po na isasama natin sa tubig. At ang kasama niya din po ay natural na asukal. Gamit po ang stevia. Alam naman po ng iba yung stevia po, yung po yung natural na halaman na pampatamis po doon sa ating produkto. Sa pure banana powder naman po ay ito po yung purong banana dahil po gusto din po ng wala.
Lester, can you share your PowerPoint because we cannot see the PowerPoint itself? So open it and share it again. Thank you.
Okay na po, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Okay po. Yan po. Okay po. Yung banana, yung sa banana pure powder po, made from pure banana po siya na kinakatas, then sinasamahan po siya ng yun nga po, yung meron po tayong natural ding sinasama na para po maging process powder po ang ating banana. Ayan naman po, ito naman po yung banana strip. ito po ay kahalintulad po ng produktong picnic. Ano po? So meron tayong picnic na commercialized po na more in sabihin po natin marami masyadong chemical. Pero po itong banana strip po, made from organic banana po. And yung powder pa lang po ay pinoproseso pa na maging organic din po sana yung cheese powder, sour cream and cheese po, yung mga barbecue. Dahil ang ginagamit pa rin po namin ay yung mga typical na nabibili po sa mga convenience store po. Pero soon po na na po kami, pinag-aaralan po namin na makapag-invento po tayo ng produkto o yung powder na flavor na gamit din po ang natural na powder. Teka lang po, medyo Ayan po, ngayon naman po ay ang banana chips. Dahil po dito rin po sa bayan ng Violet ay karamihan po ng ating farmer ay ang inano po ay kape, paminta at saging. Ano po. Ito naman po yung turmeric product. Ito naman po sa gawing haliwa ay ito po yung pure turmeric powder. Ito po ay purong-purong powder na ginagamit po sa mga java rice and yun nga po, pwede rin po siyang inumin halo lang sa mainit na tubig. Ito naman po yung turmeric capsule dahil gusto din po natin magkaroon tayo ng mga inumin na kumbaga po natural na meron lang sinasama tayong konting mga preservatives para po tumagal ang ating mga produkto. Sunod po, ito po turmeric juice po. Ganun din po. Turmeric seasoning. Ito naman po yung para po din po sa mga convenience store natin na ginagamit nila sa mga yun nga po sa mga pagkain. So meron din po tayo sa cases po na turmeric seasoning para po natural ano po. Ngayon naman po ito po ang palaya powder. So parang katulad din po sa banana, ito po ay mga puro galing po sa ating mga farmers na organic din po. Ayan, ginger powder, ganun din po, luya, aswete. Ito naman po yung mga pinackage lang po namin kasi yung aswete, karamihan po sa ating mga market ay hindi masyado quality na po yung aswete. So, yung mga tanim ng mga farmers din po natin ay kino-collect pero hindi pa ganoon karami yung kumbaga po yung trees ng aswete. Yan po yung guyabano juice. Pure din po siya. Sinasamahan din po siya ng pampabuo o pampress po ng ating powder. Stevia. And kalabasa powder po. Ito din po, pure kalabasa powder ay yun nga po, mga puro pong lahat po na vegetable yung ginagamit namin na under din po ng certified organic food. Kaya lang po namin naisip na maging produkto siya kasi nga po mahirap yung mga kabataan din po natin ay parang ayaw nang kumain ng gulay dahil nga po siyempre sa panahon ngayon mahirap kainin ng mga kabataan. So nakaisip po kami ng proseso na pwedeng isama po sa ating mga bigas or pwede nating isama sa ating mga ulam-ulam. Para pong ito na yung pinaka-seasoning. Ano po? Yan po, tomato powder. Yan po, langka juice din po. Ito po ang isa sa pinakamahal po na binibenta namin dahil po ang langka ay medyo kumbaga po ay maraming puno po kami dito sa aming bayan. Ngunit mahirap din po ang mangolekta dahil po ay kumisa po ay mas nauna pa ang mga peste kaysa sa amin ano po. Pero ngayon naman po na asikaso na po na yung mga puno and then yung mga langka ay mas marami na po kami nagagawang langka juice. Yan po, ganoon din po yung sa okra. Ayan po, okra seasoning, pure okra powder. Yan po yung santol. Ano po, ito naman po yung pinakamababa po namin na binibenta na produkto yung santol dahil po marami. Sobrang dami po dito sa bahay. Yan, santol juice. Ayan po, yung sitaw. Ito naman sitaw powder and sitaw seasoning. And eggplant. Siyempre po, ang kapeng bailin ay amin din po binibenta para po ito po ay makilala ang kapeng bailin. Ano po. Sa ngayon po ay nagko-convert pa lang po ng organic kape ang bailin. Yan po, target market po natin, yung amin pong YHMPC store, yung mga consumer store, at meron na din pong ilan company na nakakausap namin, yung kay Doc Hassel, yung Piltycon po, yun po ay kumbaga po ay nakuha po ng powder, yung powder po dito sa YHMPC. Ano po. Kasi yung mga reseller, and then siyempre po dahil bakit po member, ano po. So yung member namin, marami din po ay yung mga lola, gusto po ay yung mga turmeric and luya, ginagawa nilang juice. So sila po ang magiging target. And po, ito po yung mga sample pictures na nangongolekta po kami. Hindi lang po napasama yung iba. Ano po, so kasi dami, pumili na lang po. Kasama po ang aming chairman of board ng YHMPC, Mr. Gabriel Arubio, and po ilang members po ng Hugs and Kisses for Age Club. And sa ngayon po, yung produkto namin ay wala pa po kami sariling spray dryer. So nalapit po kami sa Los Baños po para po magpa-spray dryer. Kaya medyo pricey pa po yung aming produkto dahil siyempre yung transportation po, dahil malayo din po ang bayan ng Bailen. And pero sa tulong po ng D-Acres ay magkakaroon po ng sariling spray dryer po ang Yakap at Halik, katulong po ang Hugs and Kisses. At ang Hugs and Kisses po ay under po ng cooperative ng Yakap at Halik, kaya po nagiging katuwang po kami sa lahat ng mga gawain at aktibidad po ng Yakap at Halik. At handa naman po kaming kumbaga po ay mag-undergo pa ng mga seminar upang mapaganda po, mapaayos pa ang aming mga produkto. At nawa po, yung sa konting akin po sa sinabi ay medyo po meron kayong natutunan, and nakapag-share po ako ng kaunti. At ito po ang aming mga members. Yes po, ito po yung sa babae, ito po yung sa lalaki. At kami po ay under din po ng isang religious group, at pero nag-accept po kami ng mga members na under po, hindi po namin karelihiyon. Pero ang Yakap at Halik po ay nagmula po sa isang religious group na Samahan Tatlong Person ng Soro Diyos. And kami po ay mga member din po noon, and at the same time kami po ay anak ng magsasaka dito po sa bayan. Ano po? Ang lagi po namin sinasabi sa aming mga members, ang agrikultura, ang puso ng ekonomiya, at ang organikong pagsasaka, ang pagsasakang may konsensya. Ilang po at maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat, Lester, sa napakahusay na presentation. Thank you very much, Lester, for your very excellent presentation. Interesting, and I like the name, Hugs and Kisses.
Yes, ma'am. Opo, in English lang namin, ma'am. Opo. Pero yung meaning, opo, may meaning po talaga yung...
Yeah, I heard. Yeah.
Thank you po.
Maganda yung presentation ni Lester, because we can see how the DA, the Department of Agriculture, is actually able to assist them, not only in developing their products, but also in further improving the production. So good luck. Next, we have the co-proprietors of Elements of Tomorrow, Weekend Wild Child, Health in Dahanan Through Habit. These are several enterprises that the husband and wife team of Gio Espital and Laila Monera are actually spearheading. Gio and Laila, please go ahead with your presentation.
Thank you, Miss Becky, and hello to everyone. Sorry, Laila will not be able to join us because she had an emergency, but I'll try to I'll try to explain what she is doing right now. Ma'am Carla, can I try to share my screen also first?
Go ahead, Gio. You can share your screen.
Thank you. There. Okay. Thank you. Wait, I need to take off the there. Okay, so again, good afternoon, everyone. And I'm Gio Paulo Espital. And thank you for inviting me to this Social Enterprise and Rural Revitalization Context, Trends, and Good Practices here in the Philippines. So I'm the founder and CEO of Elements of Tomorrow, or as I shortly I call it in a short term, Elementum. So I'm also an organic farmer. I specialize in mushroom production, and I also have a small space on our urban house. And also I'm a former staff of PRRM, so proud PRRMer here. So Elements of Tomorrow is a business that me and my wife conceptualized after we stopped working in an NGO setting. So we decided to stay in a farm in the mountains and start a family. We live in the mountains of Mount Banahaw, where my uncle gave us a space. So we conceptualize what the products that I can offer, and what can we give to the market. So that's why we came up with Elements of Tomorrow. Why Elements of Tomorrow? Because we believe that whatever we sell, it should be reused or used after they bought it or after they done using it. So everything that we do or everything that we sell is reusable or compostable, or it can goes back to earth. That's why it's Elements of Tomorrow. So we focus on organic farming. When we were starting, we were producing upland vegetables and specialty mushrooms. Everything that we grow, we deliver it in the metro or in Metro Manila. So we have partners in Metro Manila that are restaurants, households, and individuals. So mostly our big buyers are restaurants, and second buyer is households. So they really like the organic produce because they said that it's more tasteful. It doesn't destroy the environment, and they love the practice of organic and natural farming that we do. So on the right picture, you can see our son and my wife holding our organic potato harvest. So aside from potato, we also have different greens like adlay. We have coriander, salad tomatoes. Most of our produce are high value crops. Before we penetrated the restaurants and the big market in the metro. We were throwing away 50 to 100 kilos of mushrooms every day because we don't have a market and the market is not yet ready. So when when I realized that we haven't touched the market, and we were dumping most of our capital in production. So I decided to go and go door to door to different restaurants in Metro Manila to offer our produce. So eventually, I've been part of a group called Young Farmers Philippines, where we help each other on marketing our produce. So everything that my co-member does have and doesn't that I have and my co-member doesn't have, we exchange produce and we exchange market, we exchange contacts, so we can further strengthen the partnerships. So and every week, every month, we have a meeting with chefs, with the Department of Agriculture, with local celebrities, on how to upscale and how to improve the organic and young farming scene here in the Philippines. So we also produce organic rice from our farm, from our partner farm in Quezon, and we also have a farm here in Mindoro. I'm here in Mindoro right now, and we were checking on our sites, and yeah, we have organic rice and black, brown. Sometimes we have red. Next year we will be planting the color pink. So most of our produce are seasonal, and you cannot easily get into in the market. So like for example, the honey mead, my wife made the honey mead from different organic and natural sources. We sources local lemons and local cinnamon. Everything that we put in our honey mead are local and organic. So we also have a cacao farm here in Mindoro, where we make different kinds of produce out of cacao. So we have cacao nibs, we have cacao powder, we have tablea. So, and right now we are partnering with a small chocolate maker. So where they can make our cacao into a chocolate in the near future. So most of our produce are from our farms, and some are from our partner farmers. So we also partner with different local farmers. So for example, because I worked before with PRRM, Miss Carla already said that they have a partnership with Vizcaya Fresh in Vizcaya. So we also partner with Vizcaya Fresh. So we get their produce every week and we sell it in Metro Manila. So what produce do we sell? We don't choose if your produce is deformed, if your produce are ugly. So we always told our farmers, our partner farmers, we always tell our partner farmers that anything that you can send us, we will not make or list any rejects on it. So that's the problem or the challenge right now in the Philippines. You have lots of produce, but every time you deliver to a big company or a big trader, they will always tell you that your produce are half reject and the good ones are only 1/4 of it. So the farmers are always on the low-lying part of the argument or the trade. So in Elements of Tomorrow, we also follow fair trade system. So we don't tell our partner farmers, we don't tell them that this is the price of the vegetables. We always ask them, what is the price of your vegetables? If we agree in the middle, or if we agree with the price, we continue it for a year. And before the year ends, we meet again, or we exchange, and we review our pricing. So we have a 1-year lockout price. But sometimes it doesn't, we cannot follow that, because most of the time some of our farmers, they will ask us that, sir, the price of this vegetable is up in the market right now, can you adjust a little? So we give that leeway to the farmers, because we don't want them to be burdened with the pricing of the vegetables. But most of the time we ask them that we will get a fair price and a continuous order every week, so that they can plan, or they can product plan their system. So we make sure that we have a production plan for a harvest season. So that's how we work with other farmers. And also we want our farmers to follow the organic and natural process, and we partner with farmers who are PGS certified, or part of the participatory guarantee system. But if you don't have a PGS certification, or PGS if you are not part of the PGS system, we also give leeway to the farms that wants to sell their produce to us. So where do we work? So mostly we work in the northern part of the Philippines, but we also have partners in the Mindanao area, or the southernmost part of the Philippines, where we get their produce. In the southernmost part, we partner with where our honey comes from. We partner with ex-rebels that form a community cooperative group. So they are now selling wild honeys and different non-timber forest products, so that they will not destroy the forest. Also, we have partners in Palawan who are indigenous people, and in Mindoro area in the west side of the Philippines, where most of our produce comes from, because our family farm is in Mindoro. So one of the main product of Elements of Tomorrow is our Bokashi bucket. This is a kitchen waste composter. So we sell it in Metro Manila for urban areas where they can reuse their kitchen waste. So they put it in a bucket. They ferment it for a week or two. Then they can put it into their compost area or into their garden. If they don't have a garden, we have a system that we can get their bokashi buckets or their kits, so that we can compost their bokashi buckets. So next is unfortunately Laila is not here, my wife. So she is the founder and CEO of Health Tindahan and co-founder of Weekend Wild Child, also a former community organizer. So Health Tindahan stands for Healthy Mini Store. So tindahan in Filipino is a mini store. So everything that she sells in her health tindahan is all healthy. So why healthy? Because we have Elements of Tomorrow. Elements of Tomorrow, we produce, we farm, we get produce from our partner farmers that are organic, natural, and naturally grown. So if we have oversupply of our produce or their produce, what my wife does is she processes it. She makes it into something else that can be eaten, can prolong the shelf life, and can be sold also to households. So on your left, that's our carrots from the northern part of the Philippines. So before the pandemic, they have lots of before and during pandemic, they have a ton of carrots and organic vegetables. So one of our produce are we ferment the carrots and sayote into a she made a sauerkraut. No, not sauerkraut. Sauerkraut is for cabbages. Carrots and sayote is for I forgot the fermented term for carrots and sayote. It's a Mexican fermenting technique where you can make a somewhat achara-like taste for carrots and sayote. On your right side, on your upper right, you will see our guava jam. So we make a guava jam out of our guava trees here in Mindoro, and we also have guava trees a guava tree in our home in Metro Manila. So most of the time we have abundance of harvest of guava. So we half of it we put it in a refrigerator, and half of it we put it into a freezer, and half is we ferment it, and some we make into jam so we can sold it or sell it to Health Tindahan. So on the lower picture, on the lower right, you will see our cupboard. before the pandemic, that is our cupboard. But right now we have 2 racks of fermented produce where we ferment kimchi, we ferment mustasa, we ferment papaya, we dry tomatoes, we dry chilies. So anything that our produce or our partner farmers had a excess of, we make sure that we can prolong or we can do something about the produce, so it will not be turned into a compost. So there. Aside from fermenting and making our produce longer, we also have a juice for families. So this is kombucha. So kombucha is a fermented fruits. So it is a lactobacillus bacteria that can help your gut or your stomach on digestion. So this is a natural way of making your stomach or gut health healthier. So we also use different local fruits to ferment our kombucha. Yeah. So there, we have bananas, we have sayote, sweet potato, eggplant. So all of that were from our partner farmers, and most of that are from our partner farmers and from our farm. We also have raspberry jam. It's a local raspberry from our from where we started Elements of Tomorrow in the mountain. So they have plenty of raspberries that they cannot preserve, they cannot sell because it easily wilts. It cannot be stored for 24 hours or for a longer period of time. So we also have we also come up with raspberry jam. We also tried raspberry kombucha, which is one of our best sellers, because raspberries are only available during summer season. So most of our kombucha flavors are seasonal. That's why most of our flavors are it depends on the season. Also, we also have quesong puti or white cheese that we buy from our we resell from our friend who makes white cheese here in nearby provinces. So there. We also partner with farmers, fisher folks who smoke their fishes. So from vegetables, we are now selling dried and processed fish, because we believe that different food that you take is better than just one food. Also, we make rice kakanin or the local rice cakes. I think it's rice cakes. So we also make our own kakanin or rice puddings, coconut rice food. So also we have a store in the center of Metro Manila. It's called True Habit. True Habit is a vegan. It is a vegan lifestyle store. So where you can buy vegan products and organic vegetables, organic fruits, and different eco-friendly household products. Like, for example, the bamboo toothbrush, the stainless straw, the reusable pads for women. We also have organic dishwasher dish soap. We also have soaps that are organic. We also have soy milk, mostly a vegan lifestyle store where we also sell our organic vegetables and fruits. So after Elements of Tomorrow and Health in Dahan, we also have another program for kids and for families. This is Weekend Wild Child. It's a nature schooling for family and kids. So Weekend Wild Child is a camping activity and nature bonding for families or for kids or for anyone who loves kids. So we go to farms, we go to different areas here in the Philippines to bring the families into to campings, to different programs. So where they can experience nature, they can experience life in the farm, they can experience fresh air, fresh water, clean food, clean soil. So everything that can be used in
last 2 minutes.
last 2 minutes. Okay, that can be used. That can be seen in nature. So that is Weekend Wild Child. So everything that it is a family-led camping. So everything that we produce in Elements of Tomorrow were sold in Health in Dahan, and everything that we also produce in Elements of Tomorrow are cooked for campings in Weekend Wild Child. So and everything that Weekend Wild Child and Health in Dahan produces waste, it goes back to Elements of Tomorrow. So we can compose it and we can make it into something else. So we have a mini circular economy on everything that we do. So we want our projects or our heart projects to be part of everything that we do. Right now we have a partnership with a organization about environmental preservation. We are now partnered with them in their mangrove reforestation, marine sanctuaries, marine protected area, and marine sanctuaries, and also their youth empowerment programs. So that's the circular economy of what my wife and I, and also with our son Seed, are doing. with the help of also with the help of different friends and partner communities and institution, like for example PRRM.
Thank you very
And
much.
there, thank you.
Thank you very much, Gio, for sharing with us your life philosophy and your practices, and how renewable it is. We will discuss later your philosophies and stories. At this point, I'd like to call on Eminel Perdis. She's the manager of Synergy Family Farm by Synergy Resource Center, also a former PRRM staff, one of the movers of the PRRM Youth Association, and a second generation PRRM family. Nini, welcome, Nini.
Thank you, Ate Becky. Ni hao, namaste. Kumusta po kayo? Magandang araw, magandang hapon sa lahat. I am happy to be with you today and grateful for the opportunity to share our journey as a young family. Allow me to take you with me down the memory lane. I was 6 years old. Our family decided to move from our home city, Legazpi, to Naga City. My papa was to assume leadership of a faith-based organization, the Bicol Ecumenical Fellowship for Development, while my mama would be among the rural development workers to be sent by the Philippine Rural Reconstruction movement to the villages and bring its good news of integrated fourfold program of education, livelihood, health, and self-governance. Looking back, everything was new, new house, new neighbors, new school, new dialect. And most of the time, we would be left with our nanny for days, sometimes more than a week, as both of them needed to attend out-of-town trainings, seminars, workshops, and do field work or area work. You see, my young mind's repository of vocabulary recorded these words earlier on. Our neighbors would ask where our parents were, and the answer would be either in a training, a workshop, or field work. It's a treat to be taken along whenever kids are allowed to join in one of these workshops. Ate Tessa can relate. Then I would later hear words like people's organization, sectoral representatives, sectoral agenda, community facilitator, community development. Then the sight of those brown papers on the wall, colored meta cards, posters, paintings, and smell of crayons and marking pens, we call them pentel pens. Singing of songs I wouldn't hear over the radio. I have fallen in love with my mother's office mates, as they all happen to be very kind, soft-spoken, and friendly. I would find myself sitting with them, listening to their chit-chats about their lives, their love stories, but was never sent away because I was a child. I really felt like a grown-up being with them. My very first childhood friends were my mom's office mates. In one of the workshops, I learned to sing the Rural Reconstruction Credo in Bicol version. The tune was so good, and the lyrics too. By heart, I have memorized the lines, although I admit I did not understand them. From then on, I would be frequently asked to lead its singing during PRRM gatherings. We enjoyed Christmas parties as we get to receive Christmas presents from PRRM. There will always be something for the kids. and also to meet the other kids. My love for books goes back to my fondness of the looks of the glossy and colorful pages of the Community and Habitat, a journal PRRM releases at that time. I would smell, stare, sometimes gaze. And I confess I would cut the photos that I found to be interesting. One night, my mom took home a different book. Smaller in size, the letters are bigger, and the illustrations in black ink. The cover is colored, and the title would read, Doctor to the Barrios by Juan M. Flavier. They were my childhood treasures. I was introduced to more big words: community-based health program, community-based coastal resource management, community-based fishery sector program, health in the hands of the people, healthy lifestyle, 10 rights of a child, children in armed conflict, children in mining areas, child labor, family planning, gender equality, fair trade. I carried all of these concepts in school. I got involved in school-based youth organizations. One day, news about the revival of PRRM's youth arm came. Tagging along some of my university friends, we joined the Philippine Rural Reconstruction Youth Association. Armed with our patriotic and energetic young blood, and along with the 16 PRRYA provincial chapters all over the country, collectively, we envisioned a Philippine society where the Filipino youth are active participants in sustainable community development efforts. And we declared we were not a youth arm, but a people's organization. Diba, Ate Kai? Each local chapter carries a flagship advocacy that addresses a specific social issue unique in its locality. We championed adolescent reproductive health, life planning education, global climate change action, education for all, good governance, youth participation in nation building. We would gather for the annual summer camp, run capacity building and training workshops, participate in various community activities, and partner with other stakeholders. In 2004, PRRYA was awarded as one of the 10 accomplished youth organizations in the Philippines for its role in the implementation of a child labor scholarship program. This is a partnership between the People-to-People Aid of Japan and the PRRM. We were in charge, or we were tasked to help in the screening, selection, conduct of tutorial sessions, and mentoring of the beneficiaries. Last night, I learned from a PRRYA fellow that one of our scholars is now taking her Doctor of Philosophy in Education degree, and they attend the same class. Now, the tutor and the tutee now shares the same class. I told myself, now that's the best award. At the university, we were trained and primed to be among the leading educators in the country, while PRRYA provided us with the venue, opportunities, and freedom to be more proactive, radical, and actually become the movers, shakers, and catalysts of the community right there and then. 2 decades later, some of us would find ourselves serving the indigenous community, the Department of Social Welfare and Development, the Department of Environment and Natural Resources, the academe as administrators and educators, the corporate arena through its corporate social responsibility office, non-government organizations, the legal department. We now have a lawyer and a paralegal officer, the United Nations. Some engage in organic farming and agriculture. Atika mentioned earlier about Vizcaya Fresh. One of the leading personalities there is Kuya Ronel. He's a PRRYA member. Some entered entrepreneurial ventures, and some took on the special role of nurturing the future generation by becoming stay-at-home mothers and fathers. Diba? Mabuhay. Little did we know that our simple volunteer work would change the course of our lives significantly. After graduating from college, I was invited to serve as youth coordinator for PRRM. And serving alongside the brightest and the most brilliant personalities in rural development is the best and the most fulfilling place to be. But at one point, I thought to myself, maybe the imagining should now transition into imagineering. Sir Gani Serrano coined the term PRRM DNA. I was reminded by Ate Kai last night. Once a PRRMer, always a PRRMer. Living PRRM was like living home, its comfort, and everything good that comes with it. It felt like I was released in the jungle. Nervous, but excited for whatever awaits me there. All that I have with me was the rural reconstruction credo. In 2009, I got married and moved to Negros, a province in central Philippines. And after a year, we set up Synergy Resource Center. It is an advocacy entrep center designed to carry on the initiatives and inspirations from my years with PRRM. Salamat, PRRM. We explored new concepts and way of life, social artistry as an emerging form of social transformation, eco-village, permaculture, and food forest for food security, financial literacy, transformative development, holistic health, minimalism, intentional parenting, and home education. For 7 years, we built partnerships with schools, barangays, private organizations, government organizations, civic organizations, organized events in small and large groups with different community sectors, cutting across ages. On the 8th year of Synergy Resource Center, we gave birth to Synergy Family Farm. Learning by doing with our 2 growing children, we started immersing ourselves into farming. Parang na-challenge ako kay Sir Gani. Yung balagi niya sinasabi na nagpe-pretend lang siyang farmer. Hindi siya nagpa-farm. So, yeah. We tasted the bitterness of every sugarcane harvest, yielding very low sugar content. The scorching heat on the face of a sugarcane farmer going to and fro with a heavy load on his back just to be able to take home food for his family by the end of the day. The struggle of a rice farmer longing to avail of government fertilizer subsidy, but not having the means to meet the 50% farmer counterpart for the lack of funds to shell out. The dismay of a banana planter when a strong typhoon hits and tramples down his hope for a good harvest. The weight on a coconut farmer's shoulder when the buying price of copra is too low, while the selling price of coconut oil at the nearby store is soaring high. On the other hand, we were able to experience the simple joys in simple things. To walk barefoot and be grounded to the earth, to taste the goodness of one's harvest, to be touched by the sun and kissed by the rain. Dagdagan ko na, to be hugged by the mud. To be cleansed by stream waters. To care, share, and coexist on this plane. I realized we lived among them, we laughed, dreamed dreams, planned, worked, cried, got tired, rested, woke up to a new day with new hope. And yeah, we were them. In the jungle, I met my tribe. There were many of us pala. And I think kasama ko dyan itong tatlong naunang nag-present. I can relate. Initiatives, groups, and individuals that dreams of a better future. The true superheroes of the land. I realized there's more to learn from them than them to learn from me. There's this dream of for our farm. We dream to be a permaculture farm and food forest. I was listening to the sharers earlier, and I can see my daughter in Mabel. I can see my son in Lester. Someday he'd claim that he's also a farmer's son, and that would be a great pride for me. And I long to be that family also of Gio. We will produce food while increasing diversity, enrich the soil that produce our food and walk upon, and deepen our connection with the food we eat. Earlier, Father Ed mentioned about the SDGs, and I got reminded by Ver, my husband, our initiative is our family contribution to SDG 15. My father once told me, take care of the soil and the soil will take care of you. And I heard the very same line from Sir Gani. I reckon it must be true. We also dream of establishing a farm school, an eco-village. And talking about social entrepreneurship, now I see social entrepreneurship from a different lens. I see a gift economy alighting, where exchange of resources is sacred, as it is an extension of one's heart and a symbol of one's aspirations. I look at social enterprise as light, as social entrepreneur as a light bearer, and social entrepreneurship as the act of sharing the light. As we offer, we can only hope and wish that others may follow whenever they are ready. The last word of the of the Rural Reconstruction Credo is release. That's our ultimate goal. Yes, release one light at a time. Thank you very much. Maraming salamat po at daghang salamat padayon.
Thank you very much, Minnie. It was really a very good trip down memory lane for all of us, where you brought us. But it's also a very enlightening sharing for what you are doing right now. And I'm very happy to have seen you again. At this point, can we have a conversation for just 10 minutes? Any questions on any of the presentations that were given to you? Anybody can please ask your question and
Not a question, but a comment.
who's this?
I think
Yes,
Hema.
Tita Bex.
Hema is raising her hand.
Go ahead, Emma.
Namaste from Nepal. I'm very happy to listen in all of your presentation. It's very interesting and very valuable to all of us. Your sharing and your experience and your journey about the farmers, food and fertilizers and eco organic farming. It's very interesting and I'm just wondering about the mechanism of quality control. How do you ensure about the quality of food? And what is the mechanism in your country to ensure the quality of product, food or fertilizer? Could you still share about this also?
Okay. Anybody who would like to respond to the question? The question is about the quality of the produce in the farm. Am I correct?
Yeah, not only the produce in the farm, but to sell the market. How do you ensure and monitor about the quality of food and the fertilizer when you buy or you produce the fertilizer to put in the vegetables and plants?
Okay.
How do you ensure that quality is sufficient in the
Okay.
plant? Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry because your audio is a bit low, so I couldn't hear properly. Gio, can you answer the question, please?
Yes. Here in the Philippines, we have a food FDA, Food and Drug Authority, where they check the food that we sell. But if here in the Philippines, if you are a small household or a small processing facility, you don't need to get their test or their certificate first. But right now, if you partner with the government, with the Department of Trade and Industry and the Department of Science and Technology, they will help you get the certification from Food and Drug Authority. So the key here in the Philippines, you need to partner with different government institutions to get the certifications. Join cooperative programs and be a member of the cooperative so they can also give you the right persons or the right institutions on how can we upsell or how can we send our products in the market.
Is that costly? How much is cost for the certificate?
Well, if you are a private individual and you want to get a certificate, it is costly because you need to pay for the testing, for everything that you put in your product or your process produce. But if you partner with the DTI and the Department of Trade and Industry and Department of Science and Technology, they will give it to you for free or a minimal amount or a minimal cost.
Okay. Thank you, Hema, for your question. Marlon, are you answering?
Yes, I would just like to add on to what Gio has mentioned. So also earlier, Gio mentioned about participatory guarantee system, and Minnie mentioned about Vizcaya Incorporated. Vizcaya Incorporated, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago, 8 years ago, 9 years ago, 10 years ago, 11 years ago, 12 years ago, 13 years ago, 14 years ago, 15 years ago, 16 years ago, 17 years ago, 18 years ago, 19 years ago, 20 years ago, 21 years ago, 22 years ago, 23 years ago, 24 years ago, 25 years ago, 26 years ago, 27 years ago, 28 years ago, 29 years ago, 30 years ago, 31 years ago, 32 years ago, 33 years ago, 34 years ago, 35 years ago, 36 years ago, 37 years ago, 38 years ago, 39 years ago, 40 years ago, 41 years ago, 42 years ago, 43 years ago, 44 years ago, 45 years ago, 46 years ago, 47 years ago, 48 ye
Marlon, you are breaking up. Can you,
certified
Marlon, you are breaking up. Can you put off your video?
organic producer plant-based and participant. Yes,
Marlon, I'm sorry we could not hear your answer. So can you please just type it out in the chat? I'm very sorry that
I
your
think
audio-
Sir Marlon is talking about the participatory guarantee system. From farming itself, from producing your own compost, the participatory guarantee system is now a legitimate or a legal law. It's a law that is passed and it was signed by the president to be used by the municipality to make the municipality a good organic and good natural farming practices.
Okay. We have no more questions. Do we have any, just a last question? If there are none, okay, Mayaya, go ahead.
Yeah. Hello.
Hello, Mayaya.
Yes, my question is about this program to be brought in Tanzania. I have been asking this several times once we met in an event, because my interest is to have this cohesion in Tanzania so that we can really revitalize in rural communities. That is.
Mayaya, we cannot hear you. You disappeared.
Did you get the question once I? Yeah, my question was about how can we bring this on the ground? I mean, this program of revitalizing the rural community.
Kathy?
He was asking if how can they put or how can they bring the rural revitalizing program in Tanzania?
Kathy, can you reply?
Maybe Sir Ed or the other conveners can reply. It's a difficult question.
How can we bring the rural revitalization program in Tanzania?
Well, actually, to answer, I mean, the whole exchange of ideas on rural reconstruction and rural revitalization has been going on in different ways. So I think it's a matter now of, since we are basically here convening as Asians, I mean, I've been to Tanzania itself, and I know there was a lot of rural development effort there, including setting up technical institutes. But if you are thinking of something like this, I think it starts with you and us. Let us talk some more after this and ask, what are you doing there? Where are you positioned? Are you an NGO? Do you have link with the government? Do you have link with the university? Whatever. And then I think whether PRRM or Sources for Action or Rural Reconstruction Nepal or ISEA, maybe we can have a more bilateral discussion on helping. And maybe, I don't know, about IRRR, you're supposed to have a program also in Africa. I don't know if you have contacts in Tanzania. I think it's more in Kenya. So yes, let's start with establishing a follow-up conversation between you take responsibility to just initiate it in Tanzania. And then some of us are willing to exchange ideas with you and give some suggestions. No?
Okay, thank you, Ed. There is a comment in the chat from Josephine Parilla of RRYSE. She said she's interested to connect our youth and the young ones. Good to hear from you, Josephine Parilla. We are part of the UN Civil Society Advisory Committee before with Josephine. Okay, we will close in the interest of time. We will close the discussion now. We can have bilateral exchanges by email, carry on with our contacts and networking. And I'd like to thank everyone, the presenters for this panel. And I'd like to give everyone a big round of applause. And thank you for your participation. Synthesis and closing remarks will come from our partner, the Executive Director of the Sources for Action, or SFA in China, Ms. Lanying Zhang. Welcome and good to see you, Lanying.
Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
Sorry, I caught COVID, yeah?
Oh.
So a little bit sore throat, but I still I'm still follow this workshop. And thanks for the Philippine PRRM to bring such a rich experience to us. We can see quite a lot of insight and the rich experience from the youth. I think with today facing the key challenges of humanity, we are seeing the social enterprise and the rural revitalization is a way out of this issue. I think today, like Ed said, shared about the context, the things, and also the cases presented, we see the core of the transformation of social enterprise in rural revitalization lies in promoting the returns of elements to rural agriculture and forming the economic and social construction with the participation of multi-stakeholders. So we see NGOs initiative a lot, but we also see the government initiative, the cases presented, not only from the family business or NGO initiative, but also there are also government supported initiatives and youth work. And we also see a lot of young farmers and the network-like element. And the rural revitalization strategy emphasize on promoting the integration and development of rural primary and secondary and tertiary industry, which is an important opportunity for private enterprise and social enterprise to transform local industry and social enterprise development with diversified format. The cases presented today shows quite a diversified innovations and creativity. Like the case one, a business looking at the processing, and the second also quite innovative to produce various powders. And the case three, I think the rice diversified productions. And the case four also family farms. So they all doing production, processing, and marketing. And in addition, they also start doing education like the World Weekend. So we talk about socialized organic ecological agriculture. It's not only focused on the production, processing, and services, but also linking with the education, tourism, So we also see the trends in all these cases. I think all these cases behind is the driving force that I see everybody has a dream. A dream that we want to have a better world, a good relations or harmony with the nature, harmony with the neighbors, and to have a sustainability for our own earth. And I also see all the cases, they have motivated by this dream. And I think that's PRRM's effort, especially the young lady who shared her experience. I sadly feel that PRRM has another generation. No, it's not the generation, it's another new life. I think before is kind of community development workers or facilitators and NGO workers. But now the younger generation becomes part of the community, part of the social enterprise movement, part of the social change. And I do see this is the new trend and the new life of the rural reconstruction, which is leading to rural revitalization and further for the rural regeneration. So I really feel quite inspired. And although I've been in the Philippines a long time, and now I see the younger generation, and I see the deep-rooted work of PRM in the past 20 years, we can see new sprouts coming, and the hope, and we all see the future lies on the youth, and the youth are growing, and they are playing a very important role now, and they are the driving force, they are the power for the change. And with that, I think thanks for the Philippine PRM and bring such a rich and informative, insightful, and inspiring experience, stories, and cases. And hopefully then we will have follow-up dialogue as Ed suggests, and we will have more connections with you to share the stories and experience and to support each other and to form a solidarity for the rural revitalization effort. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Laning. Please get better. I hope you recover quickly before Christmas. So with that, I'd like to close formally our forum. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat at maligayang Pasko. Magkita-kita po tayo ulit. Keep in touch. Thank you.
Thank you.